Welcome to A Gang of Girls Radio. Join your host, Ariel Grace. Ariel will bring you interviews with the best alternative experts on health and wellness, sustainability, astrology, metaphysics, spiritual, paranormal, and heroes from around the world. Now, here is your host of A Gang of Girls Radio, Ariel Grace. On WGOG Digital Broadcasting.
Good evening, peeps. This is Ariel Grace from A Gang of Girls Radio on letstalkradio.net and agangofgirls.com. And it's the astrology show tonight. Are you excited? I'm excited because I know what Rockin Rev and Rhonda is going to talk about tonight. So it's going to be a good show. You're going to want to get your notebooks and like your date books or calendars out because we're going to talk about retrograde dates, and you're going to want to mark those in and see how that goes in your calendar. And that way you're prepared too, because right now we're going through Mercury in retrograde. Yeah. And that's, things get haywire. Electronic things might, buzz in and out, may not work. You might find tech issues in different places, or you may be running late a lot. So those are all things that happen during Mercury in retrograde. Well, there's more than that, but those are things that could trip you up through the day. So, okay, I do have a couple things that I want to say before we get Rockin Rev and Rhonda on. And one of them is that we have this, I wrote a book called I'm Psychic, Not Telepathic. And in that book, there's a lot of stuff about psychic kids. And I've been working with Darla, who is our sponsor, Naturally by Darla, for the monster spray. And she's finally figured it out. She's awesome. And you can check it out. You can go to naturallybydarla.com, click on the sprays, and you can pre-order monster spray. She's going to be whipping it up here pretty soon, and she'll let you know when to expect your spray, and that you'll see the picture above. And we've talked about that a lot. What monster spray does is it assists with raising the resonance of your house. So it is the smell of roses that actually raises the resonance of the house, because what are roses? Roses are, it's the scent of love, right? It's a scent of unconditional love. And what can heal like the fastest, the quickest, the bestest? Unconditional love. So it has rose smell in it, lavender. Darla's throwing some frankincense and myrrh, and she's also going to be putting some kosher salt in there. And this is going to assist your psychic kids to set it on their bedside table so that they can spray their rooms before going to sleep. That way it keeps their room of a higher resonance, and any lower vibrational things, energies, won't be able to exist in the space. So that's what monster spray is for. It's to assist peeps, and it's also to assist the spirits too. Maybe they'll leave on their own. They'll find their own doorway or their own light, or however which way you feel they go across the veil. So look forward to that. I'll be posting it a lot. And it's the monster spray. You can check it out at naturallybydarla.com. And you could just click on the spray menu, spray tab, and it'll take you right to it. That's very fun for you. All right, so we do have, here at letstalkradio.net, we do have advertising space still open, and I think Todd still has one more space. So if you're interested in advertising, let Todd know. Go ahead and go over to letstalkradio.net and hit the advertising tab, and you can, I think there's a contact button there. You can contact him and let him know what you want to advertise, and you can check out which one you want to choose for advertising. All right. So for those of you that are looking for radio shows, you want to host your own show, you can check that out too. We do have space available for shows, and you can check out the show tab, and it will host. I think it's host your show tab, and click on that, and you can see what we have to offer there. Okay. So now it's Rockin Rev Rhonda. She is with us tonight, and she does divine astrology. So when you see her charts, you'll see some charts later. You're not going to see all the funny little lines. You're just going to see a chart. And that way you can check it out, because we're going to be comparing charts from 1776 or 1778 to 2017. And we're going to see if there are any differences in the charts. Ooh, yeah. So tonight we're going to start out with how Aries is going to affect each sign. So how is that? Well, I like Aries. Aries is pushy.
Aries is rocking it. Yeah. Aries is totally rocking it. Yes.
Get your high heels and your lipstick on.
A little bit, right? Last month.
Yep.
And just for clarification, Ariel, the chart that we're going to look at later for comparison, it is July 4th, 1776.
Oh, it is 1776.
Yeah.
Okay.
And comparing it to literally today, April 8th, 2018.
Okay.
So you will see that. But yes, last month we did talk a little bit about Aries because Mercury went into retrograde into the sign of Aries, and that's what got us started on that subject.
Yay.
Yes. Yay. So we're going to kind of pick up where we left off, which is great. And Aries is governed by the sign of Mars. And when I'm looking at a chart, and I did say last month that Aries is the baby of the zodiac.
Yep.
And it begins a new cycle and a new season, so to speak. And when I look at a chart, and I look at Mars in a birth chart, it tells me a great deal about the desires of a soul and actually how they go out and choose a life partner. So Mars represents desire. So it does tell me in their birth chart how they choose a life partner, which is really fascinating. And also Aries tells me in a chart where you're going to learn something new in this lifetime as you sojourn to this earth school. We're all here to learn something new, and the best way to know what that is through the world of Aries and where it sits in your chart. So in your birth chart, and it's done by your birth month. And do you want me to share, Ariel, what everybody's birth month is, so everybody knows
how Aries affects all of us? Because we should, we're going through Aries. It's April.
Right.
We should know what's going on so that we also know how Aries affects us, because it does affect us all differently.
Yes. Now, this happens to be with you for the rest of your life by your birth month. This is not just for this month. This is like with you, what you're here to kind of learn. And it's typically, I say new, it's fairly new. You probably have had, if you believe in reincarnation, let's say you've had a few lifetimes, but you're still trying to get a grasp on what this is to learn in this lifetime. So let me start with, if you're born in the month of April, here's what it is that you're here to learn. It relates to your house of innate gifts and abilities. So somewhere in that is, it's new for you in this lifetime. There's something new for you to learn with regards to those different things. Okay? So I'll just go through each birth month now. So if you're born in the month of May, this relates to your house of subconscious and emotional blocks. If you're born in June, this relates to your house of wishes, original experiences, and hopes and dreams. If you're born in July, this relates to your house of career, public standing, and achievements. If you're born in August, this relates to your house of philosophies, higher learning, spirituality, and long-distance traveling. If you're born in September, this relates to your house of legacy, investments, and inheritances. If you're born in October, this relates to your house of marriage, life partners, contracts, agreements, and facing the world. If you're born in November, this relates to your house of coworkers, your service to the world, and daily health. If you're born in December, this relates to your house of love, romance, your children or offspring, and your private entertainment and enjoyment. If you're born in January, this relates to your house of home, family, foundation, which includes the mother. If you're born in February, this relates to your house of critical thinking, siblings, short trips, and it's your conscious mind. So that's each zodiac sign.
It does. See how it affects us differently?
Yes.
Each sign is totally different.
Different, yeah. Exactly.
And that's pretty cool. Well, because isn't okay, so you're saying Aries is the baby. Now, back in the day, like way back, like 2,000 years ago, was March or April the first month of the year?
Well,
I can't remember.
No, you're saying it right.
Okay.
You are saying it right. But in divine astrology, it's Pisces, which is the month of March, is actually the last zodiac sign. April is the first zodiac sign. But I do know what you're saying.
Okay.
And what's interesting about that is people that are born in March, it means they've completed a cycle. They're getting ready to go to the next level.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. And people who are born in April, because that's why we say it's the baby of the zodiac, they're coming back into this lifetime, let's say, for example, and it's new for them. Okay? They're starting a new cycle in their evolution of their soul.
That's cool how we can tell that, or that's a good way of, all right, we got that.
Yeah. See, you learned something new tonight, y'all.
Hey, that's what we're here for, right?
Right.
All right. So now we're gonna we want to start talking about the retrogrades, because I know you have a lot of information about the different retrogrades that are going to be happening this year. Yeah. So, this Mercury in retrograde, it's in the sign of Aries, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
So, can you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah.
Because the new moon falls in Aries too. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. So you want me to go through the retrogrades? So if you all want to write down, I can just go through the retrogrades right now. So
yeah.
I'll list those first, and then I can talk about them individually if you'd like.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
And if you all have pencils and paper, and this will also be in my newsletter, which I can talk about later. But here's Mercury in retrograde, which actually began March 22nd, 2018, and it will go direct on April 15th, 2018. Okay? Then we do have the new moon, like Ariel said, that falls into Aries on April 15th, 2008. And it is the same day as Mercury goes direct.
Okay, so Mercury is going direct on the 15th of April.
On the 15th.
Okay.
Which is tax day.
Yeah. Hey, if you're mailing them out, they'll get there, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think we have until Monday or Tuesday is what I read. Make sure you double check that, you all, because it falls on a Sunday, the 15th.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Then we got Jupiter, which went retrograde on March 8th, 2018, and will go direct on July 10th, 2018. Then we have Saturn that goes into retrograde April 17th and goes direct on September 6th, 2018. Then Pluto goes retrograde April 22nd and goes direct on September 30th, 2018. So you can tell there's a bunch that are lining up.
Yeah, there's a bunch lining up. March and April are busy retrograde months.
Yeah. And they're spread out for the next 6 months. So what I can do is help us all navigate through these and kind of explain and tell us what they're trying to teach us, if you'd like me to go through those, beginning with Mercury, which most of us know about.
Well, we have a couple of minutes, so let's start with Mercury, because I know Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are going to take some time. But this Mercury in retrograde, there's another week of it.
Yes.
And I can tell that peeps are, getting kind of fussy and stuff like that. So how can we, make it smoother?
Well,
see, we're both laughing. It's okay.
Yeah. To use it smoother is to do what Mercury in retrograde asks us to do. To go within, slow down a little bit, re-examine things. Okay. And it is a wonderful time to journal. Notate your epiphanies and your night dreams, especially your night dreams, because so many things can be revealed at that time, because your subconscious mind is more prominent while the conscious mind is sort of in a slumber. So it really is a good time to write those down, your night dreams and even your daydreams. And as you approach the new moon on April 15th, that's the best time, because Mercury is also going direct that day. Yay. To sit down and write your goals, your dreams, your goals, your wishes. Not only your short-term goals, but your long-term goals. Absolutely important, and we can explain more of that as we go along, why I'm emphasizing long-term goals.
Well, and so now with the new moon, we always do that anyway, and there are a lot of people that create little ceremonies too with the new moon, with stating their intentions, and figuring out goals and moving forward and taking steps and that. Yeah. So with Mercury going direct on that day and us creating these intentions and that, is it going to affect the intentions that we create on that day?
Well, Mercury goes direct at 5:21 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
And the new moon is at 9:57 p.m.
Oh.
So you're really in it good. And if we have a minute, I can give you all like a little nice.
We have a minute.
If nobody has any. If you like a little ritual, the one I always did is you get a picture of either a loved one that you feel is overlooking you, that has transitioned, or a picture of an angel, anything like that. Raphael, Gabriel, whoever you like, Michael, and get a white candle, a blue, and a green candle. Blue on the left, green on the right. And put the picture of the angel behind you. That's where you light the white candle. And what you're doing is setting the intention and bringing in those positive energies of angels and loved ones to surround you. Green is for asking. Blue is for asking, and green is for good things to come in. So that's what I used to do. I still do from time to time. And on a new moon, that's when you want to do that. That's a beautiful ritual to do. And if you don't have one, it's also very good to do that. Write down, and if you want to write something out that you no longer want and you can burn it in a safe environment, then burn that, let that go, and write what you do want. But white, blue, and green with a picture of a loved one or a guardian angel in the background is a beautiful ritual for a new moon ceremony.
So everybody heard that? I hope you wrote it down, got your pencils and your papers, and you're writing down. If not, the show's being archived so that you can listen to it again and listen to what Rockin Rev and Rhonda recommends for the new moon. And we're going to be talking about Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto going in retrograde. Holy moly. Those are, very effective planets. They will affect you. You're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio, the Astrology Show. And we'll be right back.
When it absolutely, positively has to be the best. WGOG DB Clearwater. Let's talk. 2012, Keith Linder, after successfully obtaining a management position at a prestige healthcare company, decides the time is right for him and his girlfriend to move in together. That's putting things lightly. Weird things begin to happen within days of moving into the modern suburban home. The horrors they witnessed and desperately tried to fight off would end up putting them at the odds with members of the paranormal community and themselves. This gripping story, told from the house occupant's point of view, not only lists tales, but also includes pictures, video reenactments, commentary, and audio of the events being reported. Author Keith Linder does not ask you to believe him. He only asks you to listen. The Bothell Hell House by Keith Linder, now available on Amazon. The book, The Bothell Hell House. The author, Keith Linder. Order yours today on Amazon. Terry Lovelace is a 64-year-old retired lawyer and former assistant attorney general. The earliest alien experience Terry can recall was when he was 8 years old. Incident at Devil's Den. In May of 1963, he saw a UFO and described it as a perfect silver disc. 3 years later, on a clear night, he saw a second flying disc outside his second-story bedroom window. Incident at Devil's Den. In 1975, while serving as a medic in the Air Force, he witnessed yet another UFO hovering 50 feet over an ICBM missile silo. Incident at Devil's Den. 2 years later, while he and a friend were camped in an isolated state park known as Devil's Den, Terry had a life-changing fourth encounter. Not only did Terry and a friend witness an estimated 5-story high UFO, but this fourth encounter would be an epic, life-altering event. Incident at Devil's Den by Terry Lovelace. Digital download or paperback now available on Amazon.
Past the hour, and you're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio on letstalkradio.net and agangofgirls.com. And it's the Astrology show tonight, and Rockin Rev Rhonda is here, and she's going to be helping us get through the retrogrades this year. Thank goodness we have her, right? Yes. Well, because we always have like a pre-interview before the show. And she'll say, when she said, we've got all these retrogrades coming up. And I'm like, but, she is a very positive person.
Yeah.
And so she's going to give us the information that we need about these retrogrades that are coming up, because they involve Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter. And so, and all of these planets, these planets really affect all of us individually and then as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And when we were talking in the pre-interview, it's like, they do affect us, and it's like, this is so important because there's a way that we can utilize these to the way we're supposed to. I mean, that's why I like talking about it, because if we understand how we can benefit from all of this, then that's good. Just like our Mercury in retrograde. I know we all get on Facebook and we're all, blaming everything on Merc when everything goes wrong, right? And then we, then the new moon and all that stuff. So we have Mercury in retrograde. We got a new moon coming up, which is really nice. So I want to move into Jupiter, then Saturn and Pluto. And then I'll summarize for you all as to what came to me as I was putting this together.
Okay.
So while doing this with Merc in retrograde as well, Jupiter in retrograde, which I said March 8th, 2018 to July 10th, 2018. It will go direct on July 10th. It's very important to reflect on your spiritual self, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is all about spiritual and what philosophies. Here's another question to ask yourself. What philosophies do you really hold? Not what pleases other people. What philosophies do you really hold?
Right.
What belief systems do you continue to keep that also no longer serve you? These are questions to go inside and ask yourself during this retrograde time. And these questions will be important, as I said, when I bring all these retrogrades together. But it's also a good time to read spiritual materials or write articles or spiritual topics. Meditate is really, really good. Even with Mercury in retrograde, meditating is really, really powerful.
Right, it is.
So it is. Now, when Saturn goes retrograde on April 17th, 2018 to September 6th, 2018, we're taking an inner look at our own actions, deeds, and thought, because that's what Saturn is.
Right.
And we're looking at our own karma. And yes, we do have to review ourselves every now and then. Come on, you guys. And how do you manage, organize, define, and work your goals and achievements? Because Saturn is a taskmaster.
Yes.
So. And more importantly, it wants to examine your discipline. Saturn is very disciplined.
Right.
So these are things that during retrograde that you want to look at with Saturn. Then, when Pluto goes retrograde April 22nd and goes direct on September 30th, this might prompt questions that regard ideas that need to be newly birthed or repressed wishes that need to be rebirthed. Since Pluto tends to speak about death and rebirth, transmuting, and that which goes from caterpillar to butterfly, it wants to see your soul growth.
Right.
So perhaps maybe, for example, something needs healing or you need to transmute something before moving ahead. So this will allow that time to go in and do that. And it's a good time to do that. So here's the summary of all the retrogrades. Okay, when you put all these retrogrades together, this is really an introspection of many sorts going on.
Right, yes.
And it wants to prepare, plan, and purposefully look at things from a new and different perspective. This will require you to revisit some belief systems you have or have had that may be even hindering your progress in life. And this refers to your short-term and especially long-term, because look how far out these retrogrades are going. So
they're going out pretty far.
I would say even to the end of the year, everybody. It's good this next new moon to really write this down and look at all these things I'm sharing with you. And lastly, there may be some work, effort, and discipline involved during these influences to bring all of this together. So that's what even came to me while I was putting this together, and it really came to me nicely. And so I hope that helps everybody during this time instead of getting negative and, allowing this to overwhelm us or anything. So I hope that helps you all. And it helped me even. Right. It really did.
Well, it helps because we can look at these dates, and I'm going to go over these dates again just so that everybody knows, and just in case you missed a date. Jupiter is going to go retrograde, or it went retrograde March 8th, 2018. It goes direct on July 10th, 2018. Okay, so that's Jupiter. Saturn goes into retrograde April 17th and goes direct on September 6th, 2018. And Pluto goes retrograde April 22nd and goes direct on September 30th, 2018. So, that way you all, and if you haven't been able to write it down or anything, you can listen to the show again. It's going to be archived. It'll be up later on tonight. That way you have these dates and you can go, okay, yeah, that's right. And also sign up for Rockin Rev and Rhonda's newsletter at karmiclaw.com, because she's going to be sending out a newsletter tomorrow with all of this information and more so that you can help yourself, Because astrology is nature. It's natural, and it's part of our flow. So, and there's a lot of really awesome stuff going on in the world right now. And let's see how everything's going to happen during these retrogrades. If you look at it like, oh, how is this going to happen?
Right.
Instead of,
right.
oh God, this is happening, then, it'll help your attitude and actions and interactions with people.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. I hope that really helps people, because like I said, it helps me. And is it okay if I give out a tip for everybody?
Tips, handy tips are good. Yes.
Let me tell you, people, tips are so helpful. And what I buy is it's a calendar by Llewellyn's. It's a Llewellyn's astrological calendar. And I use it for myself. And everything I just told you, all the retrogrades and when they go direct, is actually in this calendar. And maybe if Mike is listening to me, he can get a link and put it up in chat for everybody.
Oh, Mike's listening.
Yeah, I know he's listening. Because let me tell you, when you're looking at retrogrades and you get out your calendar and everything I just said, how to navigate through these retrogrades and when you're planning your schedule, I like to plan things out, several months in advance.
Yeah.
You want to look at all these things. Yeah, yep. Sometimes you got to go on these trips for business during a Mercury retrograde, but you understand it so you can, hey, if you're delayed at an airport or whatever, you know what's going on. You just go with the flow and you go with it. But with that calendar, the Llewellyn's astrological calendar, you can take that with your regular calendar and you can start plotting out and planning your year.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it's got every retrograde and everything that I'm sharing with you tonight on it. I get it every year. It's like a gift I get in my own little Christmas stocking every year, even though it's big. I get one every single year from Mike.
Well, we have a question from chat from Casey Wendy, and she wants to know, if you were born during a retrograde, does it make a difference on retrograde influence on that person now? Okay.
Absolutely. For the rest of your life, it will be with you, but it doesn't mean that you can't work with it and harness it. Even let's say you're born with a Mercury in retrograde, and you're born in June, and Mercury rules Gemini. It is with you, but it doesn't mean that you can't function.
Right. That's a good thing. I always thought that I was born during Mercury in retrograde.
Oh, me too. And the thing is, though, here's what I learned about that. If you have that, it just takes you an extra step to get something. But let me tell you something. When you get it, you really get it. So, even if you don't let it, whatever, bother you.
Yeah, don't let it get you down.
I feel I was too, Ariel.
Well, because I just went through my Saturn return, so I felt like every day was retrograde.
Yeah. There you go.
So,
those are good questions, by the way, everybody. Thank you for asking these. These are good.
Rebecca, go sign up for Rhonda's newsletter, because in her newsletters that she sends out, she breaks things down and explains what's going on, and she actually gives really good explanations, so that way you can you'll know what's going on with the Llewellyn calendar, and you'll know what's going on through her newsletter, because she'll break down what's going on the calendar for you, okay? And also, listening to the astrology show. That's
I was going to say that too.
Right.
Good point, Ariel.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you get the Llewellyn calendar and you don't understand what is on there, don't worry, because every month Rockin Rev and Rhonda is going to send her newsletter out and break it down for you.
Yes, exactly.
So that's because we all need to know, I think, we need to know this kind of stuff. That way we know how to work with the energies that are going on with us. And we don't get that we don't get like that, oh gosh, nothing's moving or nothing's happening. And when you should be like not being active, but you should be like doing something else until something shifts, and then you can do that. So, and that's one of the reasons why I also asked Rockin Rev and Rhonda too, different things during our pre-interview to make sure that everybody's getting the good info that you need to get through your month, because she helps us navigate through the month. So get her newsletter, karmiclaw.com.
That and the radio show, because we go over this. And the other thing is, and I know Rebecca has my book. I'm pretty sure she has my book. I think she's one that won my book.
Yeah, I think she did. She's won a lot of books.
So, Rebecca, go back to the book, because it tells you each month, and it tells you all the key words. If you remember that, all the key words are in there. And then you know what Sagittarius means, and you know what Aquarius means. And then when you see it in retrograde, you have an understanding what it's influencing. Okay. If that helps you also.
She's got the newsletter thing going on there. Yeah. Okay, right. Because, Rockin Rev and Rhonda wrote a book last year, or she published a book last year. All right. And it's called, what's it called?
It's called Sister Sages. Thank you, Ariel.
You're welcome.
Sister Sages Astrological Journeys. Yeah, what's that book called that I read?
And when I read the book, I have a thing with the North and South nodes. I like to know about the North and South nodes. I want to know where they're at and what they're influencing. I just have this thing about that. And in her book, she talks about the North and South nodes, what they are, how they affect us, where they're at. And she talks about a lot of different things. It's not like your regular astrology book where she goes through all the signs and, just gives you the lowdown. She actually does work with some other things as well. So, because it is divine astrology that she is working with here.
Right.
So, check out her book. You can check it out at karmiclaw.com, or if you're running around Amazon, you can check it out on Amazon too. So, check out her book. And you're also doing are you doing a special this month?
I was going to, maybe I still should. I think I should, but I don't have it on my Karmic Law website yet. I was trying to come up with something, but I may make it for next month, and I can explain it later because of the big change we have next month. Right. So I think I'm going to wait till next month. So hold on, everybody, because we got a big change coming next month. Brace yourself.
Yes, brace yourself.
Hold on.
And we're going to be talking about that too, because there's a lot of changes coming up this year. Yeah. And for those of you in chat, some of you have asked about this. You've asked about things that are happening in the United States. I've had a couple of clients ask if we were going to go into World War IV. We're going to, what's going to happen? Is the stock market going to crash? How's our finances going to be doing? I've had a lot of questions about these kind of things, and these are very valid questions. Especially with that whole World War IV thing. There's so many things in the mix on that one that, we can't really, I don't like to predict that, and I don't even want to. So what we're going to do, what Rockin Rev and Rhonda is going to do is she's going to guide us through some energies that are going to be happening throughout the year. And some of the energies we've talked about too, like the revolutions that are going on, because it's not just one revolution going on here in the United States. It's like a bunch.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. And the coolest thing that I have found about these revolutions that are going on here, people standing up and saying, I want to change this. I'm hearing more like, yeah, I align with that. Yeah, I'll back you up on that. Yes, let's do that. I'm hearing more positive input like that rather than, people digging in their heels or being against. A lot of people are stopping talking about being against stuff, and they're changing it and saying, you know what, I'm for this.
Yes. Yes.
And
exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's so cool because it brings everything together. Like it's unifying things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And remember the last few times we've been on and we've talked about getting back to the dragon's head and tail that you were referring to earlier. Yes. Remember what I said?
Because we were talking about the dragon's head and tail, and the dragon's head is the north node and the dragon's tail is the south node.
Aquarius, yeah,
right.
Which is February. And I said February and August are going to be changing months.
Yes.
Remember? Okay, that's another tip. So
and look at the retrogrades. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So and that's how also like Rockin Rev and Rhonda put our charts together, and our dragon's head and dragon's tail, or north and south node, are the same.
Yep, we're twins. She's my sister.
So you're going to want to like listen for the next part of the show. Also take notes during the second hour of the show, because we're going to be talking a lot about these revolutions and why.
Yeah.
Why are they happening?
Right.
Right. Because we go in cycles, and this is actually something to look forward to and not really to look like, yikes. Instead, let's look forward to it, because there's a lot of stuff going on that,
we need change. And no matter what, we need to evolve. Our souls need to evolve. We need to grow. We need to learn. We all need to learn things. So this is what we're going to be looking at here tonight.
And we're being set up for it. The planets are setting us up for new growth, new change, evolution. Yeah. And if we look at it as like, oh yeah, let's break free of like this old skin and see this bright, beautiful skin underneath.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
So.
Well, and when we come back, we got a couple minutes before our next break. But when we come back, we'll be doing the live reading, and we'll be doing we're going to do some announcements and stuff like that. And then during the second hour, we're devoting it to this evolution that we're having. Okay? Because, we're excited.
Yeah. Someone had posted another good question, and we like your questions. Keep them coming, you guys. This is what brought all this about tonight, too.
Yes.
Plus, the timing was perfect. So, what I want to say to the question that was asked about retrogrades real quick before we go to break here, and the question was something, and it scrolled up, but it was something like, for those who don't understand retrogrades, what in general does it really mean? Well, like with Mercury and retrograde, the answer to that is it's a time given to all of us for a rhyme and a reason. There's a time and a season and a rhyme and a reason. And whether that's to go within spiritually, like with Jupiter in retrograde, or with Mercury, it's a time to reassess and not start new projects. And Pluto, for death and rebirth or transmuting things, it's a time to go and revisit those things of what's preventing you from moving forward. So retrograde is just more of navigating through. Are you guys losing me? Or can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You sound great.
Okay, good. So I hope that is beginning to answer that question in a general sense without bombarding you guys with too much technical
info.
astrological info.
And we'll go over it again. We're going to go over different ideas about the retrogrades and stuff like that too for you, so that hopefully we'll find something that resonates with you to assist you. So you're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio Astrology Show, and with Rockin Rev and Rhonda. And we're going to be coming back with one live reading tonight, more info for you. Keep your pens and notepads ready. Oh, yeah? All right. So you're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio Astrology Show on letstalkradio.net and agangofgirls.com.
While the other stations are run from high rises in the city, we're programmed from a little bungalow on Windtree Drive. LetsTalkRadio.net. Haunted, a psychic story by author and radio host Ariel Grace. This is not your average book of hauntings. Haunted, a psychic story is written from a psychic perspective and contains true stories and some handy tips. Written in 3 parts, Haunted, a Psychic Story contains chilling adventures, advice from the archangels, and helpful tips used by Ariel Grace to clear haunted homes around the globe. Haunted, a Psychic Story is available on Amazon, or you can download straight to your Kindle. Haunted, a Psychic Story by Ariel Grace. Get your copy today. There are thousands of health and beauty products on the market these days, but how many can you say are truly natural? The name says it all, and Naturally by Darla is here to humbly serve, guide, and help to heal all individuals seeking a more natural way of living. NaturallyByDarla.com provides a wide variety of products and services like essential oils, soaps, balms and salves, powerful mists, and ancient healing techniques. Curious yet? We thought so, and invite you to visit our website, naturallybydarla.com, or call 847-334-1580. That's 847-334-1580. Naturallybydarla.com. Humbly serving for over 10 years. Naturally. We interrupt our scheduled programming to bring you the following conspiracy theory. Humpty Dumpty was pushed. WGOG-DB Clearwater. Let's talk.
Past the hour, and you're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio on letstalkradio.net and agangofgirls.com. And it's the astrology show tonight. Yes, it is. And if you're interested in checking out Rockin Rev and Rhonda, you can go to karmiclaw.com. That's her website. Everything's up. You know, you can find out about her consults. Her blog is there. She's got the book there. She has a lot of different information there for you. You can check it out. So again, it's karmiclaw.com. And that way too, you can book a session with her as well. Because I do believe that having astrology sessions, you know, at least once a year, that way you can map out your year and you can see where you are supposed to be busy or not. You know, maybe like you're supposed to be doing other things, being crafty, or you're supposed to be writing or something like that, and you're frustrated because you're trying to do something and things aren't moving along. An astrology consult can help you map out your year so that you know when and where and how. Right. Yes. So. Yeah. All right, now the Mercury and retrograde thing, for me, it's always like slow down and check out what you're doing. What are you doing and why?
Yeah.
And that way, and that's what I do too, because a lot of times appointments get rescheduled, things get worked around, but you can work around it, as long as you're going, okay, Mercury is in retrograde and peeps are also having to work around it as well. So things might come up that you may have to take care of, and that's okay.
Right. And if it takes a little bit longer, so what? So it does. Even if you have to go back and kind of do what we call a touch-up to something,
Yep.
I've seen people actually benefit from getting hired to a new job during a Mercury retrograde. They were hired for one position, and then within a few months or whatever, all of a sudden they're put in a new position and even a better position.
Yeah.
So
I've
something
seen that.
happens
Yep.
twice. See, so it could benefit you too. It's not all gloom and doom.
It's just, it's just really a time for you to be very present and take your time.
Yeah. It truly is. I have to agree with that. Yeah, I think, and when I do consults and astrology readings, and like what you just said, people do come to me because they're either wanting to move, change jobs, all kinds of different things. And I give them the tips and the windows of opportunity. And if the stars or what they say are lining up in your favor, then I will let you know that. But always remember, everybody, that you have choice in everything you do. You always have choice. And so just keep that in mind when you're getting a reading and that type of thing, that you do have choice.
Yep.
and everything that I'm sharing with you or any other astrologer or anything, you have choice. So, but yeah.
We're just here to give you information. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with it.
So it looks like we might have a question that just came up.
And then we have a live reading too.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Let's look and see here. So if you have questions, remember to put them in capital letters, just like Rebecca did, so that we know those questions are for us, because Rhonda and I will be going back and forth from chat, checking it out. So Rhonda, or Rebecca asks, can astrology tell who one might have been in a previous life? Example, Queen of Sheba.
Good question. I don't, for my type of astrology, I don't think I get into that kind of detail, but yet, like, for example, my dragon's tail, which that's how I determine. I mean, there's a lot of different ways I can see what kind of past lives you had, but the dragon's tail is the south node is the first thing I tend to go to first. And let me give you an example. The tail of the dragon in Sagittarius that rules Native American Indian. So in one of my more recent past lives, I was a Native American Indian. But I mean, whether I was Sitting Bull, I don't know. That kind of thing. But was I a medicine man? I probably was, with the type of work I've done in this lifetime. I've worked in the medical field. I'm in a holistic medicine, and that's part of my background. And my whole bedroom is actually decorated all in Native American Indian art. So, and that was before I ever had my first reading saying that, that was my most recent past life. So cool. That is, it's interesting, but no, I don't think I get into the Queen Shebas and Cleopatras and whoever else. Those I don't. Maybe another astrologer does, but I personally don't.
Well, you can get the theme.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Well, you do have a live reading tonight, so let's do that.
Okay. All right. So, who we have is Arlene, and her question is mainly asking for a general overview reading. And Arlene is born in October. I don't give out any of your personal information, like exactly what day you're born year. So Arlene, you're born in the constellation of Libra with your sun sign in Libra. And Libra loves balance and harmony and justice, meaning everyone needs to play fair. So I'm looking at her chart, so you might hear that paper sound. So you have a gift and ability to either do feng shui or anything to do with balancing things or mediating a situation. Libra also rules the justice system, just like the Libra's zodiac symbol is the scale. So that is your visual. That's your symbol. The scale, which is a balance and harmony. And like I said, justice. Libra is governed by the sign of Venus, the planet of love and beauty. And let me add to that, Taurus is also ruled by the planet of Venus, which you have Taurus, by the way, in your 8th house of legacy, life and legacy. And Taurus rules money, banks, the beauty industry, real estate, massage therapy, day spas, and more. Now, I already know what type of work you do, Arlene, but it's encouraging you to utilize any of these areas I just mentioned, and whether it's in your daily work, your legacy work, hobby, or volunteer. But that feng shui is pretty strong in your chart. Now, your 11th house of friends and wishes, with your 5th house of love, romance, children, and creativity, is what are currently going through changes since April 28, 2017, with the current dragon's head in Leo and dragon's tail in Aquarius. Now, this current dragon's head and tail will last until November 15, 2018. It also happens to be where the dragon's head and tail were when you were born, so it's come back around. There's a lot of you out there where the dragon's head and tail has come back around, and you have the same dragon's head and tail, Leo and Aquarius. So here's what I want to say to you, Arlene. It's a powerful time to ask yourself this question. What was happening September 18th, 1998 to December 31st, 1999? Now, if you can go back another 18 and a half years prior to that, and that those dates are February 6th, 1980 to August 25th, 1981. Look at patterns or things that were happening at that time. It's very, very big and important for you to look at those. And looking at your chart, because I made it out for May 15th, 2018, I want to give you a heads up that the planet of awakenings and new age ideas of Uranus is going into your 8th house of legacy. So there's going to be some changes there, some new things. So this new change of Uranus and Taurus, coupled with Saturn and Pluto in your home, family, and foundation area, may want you to look at current and future life and legacy things related to money, your portfolios, your mortgages, that kind of thing. It's just a time to just review those. And if there are any minor or major restructuring that needs to happen, this really is a good time to do it with all of these combined influences. But don't do it during a Mercury retrograde. Just kind of wait a few days and let that just go on out and overlook that. So that's an overview, a general overview.
Right.
What's going on in her chart. I hope that helps, Arlene, and other things I can explain to you privately.
Yeah.
If you have any further questions on that.
And if you want a live reading from Rhonda during the astrology show, just send your birth date, birth time, and birthplace with your question to agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com. And get that to me before the next show. That way, Rhonda has time to pull your chart up, because that's what she does. She pulls the chart up so that she can look over it and give you some good info. Okay? Okay,
Yeah.
So send birth time, place, birth time, place, and day with your question to agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com, and that way she can do your live reading on the Astrology Show next month. All right, so stay tuned for the news, everybody, because you know the news is important, right? You're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio on letstalkradio.net and agangofgirls.com.
More troops on the border. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. At least 250 Texas National Guard troops will be in place by tomorrow, the first state to comply with President Trump's request for a larger military presence on the U.S.-Mexico border. Texas GOP Congressman Mike McCall saying the military is ready.
I can tell you what they don't want to do, and that's push paper and sit in an office. They want to be active, basically active duty down on the border, fulfilling the roles of border security missions.
Congressman McCall on Fox's Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo. Up to 4,000 National Guard troops could eventually be used at the border. The UN Security Council planning to meet in emergency session tomorrow. This after a suspected poison gas attack in Syria on Saturday left at least 40 people dead, hundreds more exposed. Officials say to a chemical agent. The Syrian government denying any allegations. President Trump and world leaders condemning the attack, calling French leader Macron today, Mr. Trump did, to discuss ways to respond. Patrick Reed wins the coveted green jacket today, taking the Masters at Augusta National.
Reed is the fourth consecutive golfer to win his first career major at the Masters. Reed overcame a bogey on the 11th hole with birdies on 12 and 14. He shot a 2 under 70 to end up 15 under for the tournament. Ricky Fowler made a late charge with 4 birdies on the back 9. His 5 under 67 left him 1 stroke off the pace. Jordan Spieth won the Masters 3 years ago. He nearly tied the course record for lowest single-round score. Spieth shot an 8 under 64, but his bogey on the 18th hole left him in 3rd place, 2 strokes back. Bob Mortali, Fox News.
Munster, Germany's Roman Catholic bishop urging mourners at a memorial service today to try and understand a van crash that killed 2 people and injured 20 others yesterday. A local cathedral was packed with over 700 Catholics and Lutherans for that service. Fox News, fair and balanced. Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy among those set to question Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg this week, following revelations that data from millions of users was used without their knowledge.
Facebook knows more about its business, its algorithms, its methodology than any of us in Congress do. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that Mr. Zuckerberg will come to the table and say, okay, here are the problems, here's some suggested solutions, let's talk it through together.
Senator Kennedy on CBS's Face the Nation, and Facebook also confirming earlier today that it's suspending the data analytics company CubeU, which use so-called personality quizzes on Facebook to help marketers find customers. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban easily winning a 3rd consecutive term today. Orban using immigration as a major campaign theme, claiming unchecked migration threatens Hungary's security and its Christian identity. A conservative advocacy group asking Netflix to add warnings before releasing the teen suicide drama 13 Reasons Why.
You may not know what 13 Reasons Why is about, but chances are your teenager does.
Because I'm about to tell you the story of my life. More specifically, why my life ended.
Tim Winter of the Parents Television Council wants the streamer to hit pause before releasing the 2nd installment about a teenager who commits suicide after being bullied at school.
You actually had the search term for how to kill myself went up 26%.
Winter is asking Netflix to be mindful.
Sadly, we've heard a number of news reports where kids binge watched the show and then took their own lives.
Winter's asked for stronger warnings, approval from the scientific community, and family packages free of profanity and violence. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Residents of Humboldt, Saskatchewan laying flowers, team jerseys, and personal tributes on the steps of an arena entrance today. They created a memorial for 15 people connected with its junior hockey team who were killed when a semi slammed into the team's bus on Friday. Paul Stevens, Fox News Radio.
If you call other talk stations, all you get is,
"Hello, we're sorry, but no one is available to answer your call at this time."
But at Let's Talk Radio, we're here for the best talk, news, and information 24 hours a day. Hear it here first or find out about the alien invasion tomorrow from someone else. Depend on us. Let'sTalkRadio.net.
The hour, and you're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio on Let'sTalkRadio.net and agangofgirls.com. And it's the Astrology Show, everybody. So make sure you got your pencils and your notebooks out, because we're going to be going over some interesting stuff here in the second hour of the show. But first, I do have my announcements. So here we go. For those of you who are interested in metaphysical, spiritual, or paranormal subjects, you can check out Clarity 101 at arielgrace.net. Okay, I'm always letting peeps know about that because there's a lot of good stuff up there, and it's useful stuff. Okay? Also, for those of you that are interested in seeing the upcoming guests coming on the shows, you can check out A Gang of Girls Radio blog. I blog every week for our guests because I want to make sure you've got the info and their links. All right, so you can check that out at agangofgirlsradio.blogspot.com. I'm still doing $50 Fridays. I'll be doing $50 Fridays until July, I've decided. Yes. So for those of you who want to book for a $50 Friday reading, it's 45 minutes for $50, and it's on Fridays. And please book, before Friday. I'm still doing soul retrieval and readings on other days as well. Okay? So remember to send me an email to book your appointments. It's agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com. I am not a psychic medium, so I do not connect with your loved ones who have passed on. That's not what I do. I assist you with your present and move you into your future. So we get you cleared up and moving in a good direction so that you can accomplish the goals that you've set out for yourself. That if you want to talk to someone to assist you with speaking to a loved one who has passed on, you can check out Psychic Theo. He's my bro. And you can check him out at psychictheo.com. He's also in chat right now, so you can say hi to him. For divine astrology readings, check out Reverend Rhonda at karmiclaw.com, who is also the author of Sister Sage's Astrological Journey. And remember, if you want a live reading during the astrology show, please send your birth time, place, and date, and a question for Rhonda at agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com. For those of you who are interested in seeing a medical intuitive, check out Marcella Zinner at it's marcellaz.com. All right. The other interesting person, she's been a guest on the show a couple of times, Laura Bushnell. She has a life magic program that I'm actually doing right now. And it's pretty interesting, and I like it. My brain isn't so heavy anymore. And she is at laurabushnell.com. Now, if you would like to do the Life Magic program, for those people that are listening to A Gang of Girls Radio, she's offering 35% off of the retail price of the program, plus $19.99 shipping. You can email joy at laurabushnell.com and put A Gang of Girls in the subject line, A Gang of Girls Life Magic in the subject line, so that you can get that discount for the Life Magic program. Okay. Now, we are going to be talking about some really cool stuff here on the Astrology Show. We're going to get a history lesson and the astrology of 1776 and how it relates to us now in 2018. So where are the dragons head and tail, the North and South Node? And how are Pluto and Capricorn, how is it going to affect us? All right, because remember, Pluto is that planet about death and rebirth. And that's what, we're going through right now, is that some clearing. We're doing some clearing. It's very fun for us.
Yep.
And it's exciting, too. It's exciting, especially to see the young people go, all right, this is what we're doing.
Right, exactly.
I love that. I love seeing them do that. It's so awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
And I understand, some people really kind of they're afraid of change. They like things, they get used to the way things are, and it's like, don't change a thing, right?
Right.
It's like, don't move anything, don't change anything. So they go kicking and screaming, they're hard to get on board to say, hey, but it's all to the greater good. Everything's happening the way it's supposed to. It may not look the way we want it to, or come about the way we want it to. Okay, so... and by the way, I'm just the messenger. So what I'm sharing with you guys, I have people say, oh, no, that person's not good for me. That Aries is not good for me. That Libra's not good, and all that. I mean, I hear all of that stuff, and I understand.
Right.
Everybody is coming in and learning things at the pace that they are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Newcomers, old souls, we're all here and learning the way we're supposed to be learning.
Right.
But anyway, what I really like is that you all have been asking these questions, and this is why we're bringing this subject up about the history lesson, which I'm so grateful for. Now, if you all remember a couple of months ago, and I was telling Ariel this, during our pre-interview. It was a couple of months ago, and for those who have been listening and have been on, like Rebecca and everything, and Arlene, there was a few months ago we were talking about when Saturn actually went into Capricorn. We got into that, and Pluto in Capricorn. We got really deep in the discussion, and we broke it down to each sign and what it meant for all of us. And remember that Saturn went into Capricorn. I'm looking at my dates. That was December 19th, 2017.
Yes,
so
I remember.
we into December 17th, 2020. That's how long that's staying in there, right?
I was celebrating that day.
I know you were.
I was, because I had just gone through Saturn and Scorpio, and I had gone through Saturn and Scorpio, and then I'd gone through Saturn and Sagittarius. So I had 4 years, four years of that.
Exactly.
So it's a very happy day for me.
And she is giggling, and I said, thank you very much, because then it's now sitting on top of me. But you know what? It's all good.
It's all good, because you're the astrologer.
Yeah. I'm handling it. It's all good. So we were talking about that, and I hope somebody can go back and kind of remember what I was saying at that time, because we're getting ready to do a little bit of a review and some new stuff on that. So are we ready to, I'm going to have Mike put up the chart. What we're going to put up in chat for those listening is the actual picture of how I look at a chart. And since the United States basically was born July 4th, 1776, and then I superimposed today's date, April 8th, 2018, to show you guys what is happening right now. So hopefully Mike hears me, and he's going to put that up.
You know he's doing it. He's awesome at that.
We'll have that up in a minute. So when you look at that, that's what you're going to be seeing. In the middle circle.
Here it comes.
There it is. Perfect timing. So in the inner part of the chart, there should be another one that he'll put up. This is the actual July 4th, 1776. The outer part of the wheel reflects the date of April 8th, 2018. So when the United States claimed its independence in 1776, through a Revolutionary War, we inherited the dragon's head in Leo, the second house at that time. You can actually see it on there. It looks like a horseshoe in the number 2 area.
Right.
And that's Leo. That's the dragon's head in Leo. Okay. And then the dragon's tail you'll see up in the number 8 area, and that's in Aquarius. So in addition to that, the powerful planet of Pluto was in Capricorn at that time, which you'll see in house number 7. You're all getting an astrological lesson tonight.
I love astrological lessons, so they're fun. And we have, so for those of you that are listening, that are running around the net and going, what the heck is Rhonda talking about? Come into chat, because we've posted the charts up here. And that way you can see what Rhonda is talking about if you need to see it. Some people may not need to see it because they'll know houses and all that business. So, but yes, so come on into chat. You can go to agangofgirls.com, or you can go to letstalkradio.net and join the chat room, and you can see the charts that Mike has put up. So you'll know what Reverend Rhonda is talking about. Okay.
And I'm a visual person, so looking at this, and of course that's how I read people's charts anyway, you can actually just see it. You could just look at it and line things up, right? I mean, anybody can do that. So what you're going to see now today in 2018, what's happened is we have made a complete revolution around the wheel and came back to the same dragon's head in Leo in the second house, and dragon's tail in the 8th house, with Pluto in the same house of the 7th house of Capricorn.
Oh, yeah.
See that? Mm-hmm. So what does this mean? It means we are in another revolution. And that actually began, I can actually tell you, when Pluto went into Capricorn was January 26, 2008. So we kind of started that already in 2008. We're just in the beginning stages of that, you guys, because that goes all the way out to 2023. Okay. Right. So, I mean, we're in it. Let's put it that way. So, and I wrote this in my book a year ago. If you have my book, you will see what Pluto in Capricorn says. And so not only is the dragon's head and tail the same, we also have that big, powerful planet of Pluto right back in Capricorn. And the last time, this is what's so cool. I get so excited over this stuff. The last time, I know, I'm such a kid. The last time Pluto was in Capricorn was 1762 to 1778.
Wow.
That's the last time it was in Capricorn. I mean, doesn't that just tell us so much right there?
It does. It's like
it does.
It
just
birth.
We can see it.
Yeah, it's death and rebirth, because peeps can we had the 1776 Revolutionary War, Declaration of Independence, all of those things. So we were getting rid of the king and his laws and bringing in our own laws and our own country, which is really awesome. And now, look at us now. We're over 200 years old, and the charts are saying the same thing, that we're going through this. And we are. There's so many people right now, like, trying to change the different things that they don't agree with, or maybe they're outdated, antiquated laws.
There it is.
And and we need to update our laws. We need to put some more modern stuff in our laws, rather than having them so antiquated that they don't either make sense or they don't even belong in this time, this day and age.
Right.
Right. That's so exciting.
It is. It is. and that's just for starters, you know, for our country. And when you look at this chart, you can see the second house where the dragon's head is in Leo. Let me tell you for the United States what this refers to. So the second house refers to money, such as our bank accounts. So for the United States, it's money and money that comes in. It rules material possessions, real estate, property, and home furnishings. And whereas the eighth house of the chart refers to legacy. So the United States is legacy, stock market, your payroll monies, inheritances, and so forth. So for the United States, it's big corporate monies, including lawsuits and our overall legacy.
Right. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about that because we've had a lot of questions. Both you and I have had a lot of questions about this. So we're going to hopefully ease your minds and ease your hearts. You're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio, the Astrology Show at agangofgirls.com and letstalkradio.net.
Real people and not pre-recorded and regurgitated radio. WGOG DB Clearwater. Let's talk. Shopping, dining, beautiful lakes and rivers, and a monster? Welcome to Braxton County, West Virginia. Centrally located, Braxton County, West Virginia is the ideal place to visit. Natural beauty and recreation abound with 2 beautiful lakes for easy kayaking and canoeing, and many hiking trails. Did we mention the Flatwoods Monster? That's right. Visit Braxton County, West Virginia's Flatwoods Monster Museum. And not only learn about the Flatwoods Monster, but walk in the same footsteps as the people who witnessed it. Nearly all of our attractions can be found within a few miles of Interstate 79. Visit us online at braxtonwv.org. That's braxtonwv.org. Braxton County, West Virginia. Center yourself here. Terry Lovelace is a 64-year-old retired lawyer and former assistant attorney general. The earliest alien experience Terry can recall was when he was 8 years old. Incident at Devil's Den. In May of 1963, he saw a UFO and described it as a perfect silver disc. 3 years later, on a clear night, he saw a second flying disc outside his second-story bedroom window. Incident at Devil's Den. In 1975, while serving as a medic in the Air Force, he witnessed yet another UFO hovering 50 feet over an ICBM missile silo. Incident at Devil's Den. 2 years later, while he and a friend were camped in an isolated state park known as Devil's Den, Terry had a life-changing fourth encounter. Not only did Terry and a friend witness an estimated 5-story high UFO, but this fourth encounter would be an epic, life-altering event. Incident at Devil's Den by Terry Lovelace. Digital download or paperback now available on Amazon.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has delivered a one-of-a-kind reading experience, covering everything from psychics, UFOs, paranormal investigations, and more. To subscribe, visit fatemag.com or call 828-702-3032. That's 828-702-3032. Subscribe and find your true reports of the strange and unknown at fatemag.com.
And you're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio on letstalkradio.net and agangofgirls.com. And it's the Astrology Show tonight. We've been talking about how the planets are affecting us, what the chart looks like from 1778, and the 2018 chart. If you'd like to see the charts and see what Rhonda is talking about, you're running around across the net and that, jump on into chat. either at agangofgirls.com or letstalkradio.net, and you will see the different charts there in chat. And Rhonda's going to be talking about these charts. She'll be referring back and forth to the charts. We're talking about how the planets are affecting us then and then affecting us now too. And she was also talking about the different houses that are affecting us nationally and then globally too. She's talking about the 2nd and 8th houses and what they represent. So let's now, just as a review real quick, the 2nd house represents
money.
Okay.
And banks.
Banks.
Yeah.
And the 8th house represents?
Legacy.
All right, cool. And so now we've got Saturn and Pluto in the mix. You know,
we do.
And we had that then too.
Yes. Well, Pluto was in Capricorn at that time, but Saturn was not. When you
Saturn
look at the chart,
not. Okay.
Right. But Pluto's the big death and rebirth and transformation. You know, that was there in 1776 to 1778, but it was not. Saturn was not. Just for clarification.
Okay.
Okay. So we talked about the 2nd and 8th house. And now we're getting into this, and what do they represent in Saturn and Pluto? So the big question really is, what, if anything, will influence these 2nd and 8th houses of money and legacy, as we just talked about?
Right.
And quite simply put, it's looking at the 7th house. So when you go back and look at the chart, that's that number 7. And the 7th house is Capricorn, just so we all know. That 7th house for the United States is Capricorn, where Saturn and Pluto are sitting.
Right.
Now, if you see number 7 in that chart, in chat, that is the house of negotiations, contracts, agreements, trades. And this is the house, what we see on TV right now, that would correspond to all the tariffs and the trade deals. This is where it's coming from, everybody. This is where it's coming from. So what we have today sitting in the 7th in the 7th house is Saturn, the planet of change and restructure and karma.
Yeah.
Also, hello. Also in house number 7 is Pluto, the planet of death, transformation, and rebirth.
Right.
So Saturn, as we know, is so methodical, and it's looking at every contract that has been signed, sealed and delivered. It doesn't matter. The deals can go as far back as years back to yesterday to today, and even forward with the Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Right. So we're all seeing this. Things that have been agreed upon many years ago are coming back up, and agreements and trades and all of that. So that's what's happening here. And Pluto, on the other hand, is saying something needs to change.
Right.
Yeah, it does. Needs to die, needs to go away, and we need something new and different.
Yeah. Yeah.
New things to come in. So Capricorn in itself is about structure of government and big corporations, infrastructure, and we're hearing a lot of that on the news. We talked about this in your shows in the last few months. So the toggle between Saturn and Pluto within Capricorn is very powerful, and the result may appear to us on social media or on the news is like upheaval.
Right.
It's like throwing up the deck of cards, you know, it's like everything looks like chaos, and it will look that way to us. But in actuality, it's supposed to happen, you guys. This is the time for it to come in and do this. We may not like it, but that's what it's here for.
Right. Well, you know, there is a lot of restructuring going on, corporate restructuring, lots and lots of it. And there's a lot of corporations that are closing, you know.
Yep. The conglomerates, all the big chain type of industries, they are going through a major restructure with this Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Look at Toys R Us. Anybody see that on TV? They closed down. And other ones may just revamp. They will come up to, let's say they're going to have an online store versus a regular store.
Right.
So there needs to be this restructure to bring it, like you said, some antiquated things need to kind of go away, and you got to get with, what's happening now kind of thing.
Right.
And Capricorn rules that. It rules these big companies.
Well, and I'll give an example too, because there's some questions in chat about what we're talking about. Toys R Us is closing. Okay. Right. Our children, and I was sad when I saw that, because I love Toys R Us, and I remember going to Toys R Us as a kid myself, and just, enjoying the heck out of it, But as I looked at it, I thought to myself, our children have changed. They have.
Yes.
Our children have changed. Yeah. My little cousin, who is 3 years old, was here last weekend, and he had his iPad going, and he was playing Plants and Zombies, and he was just having a great time with that. He also played outside and went to the beach and had fun too. But here's a small child that's working an iPad.
Right.
So, and like what you just said, these, maybe some toys that we have for our children, because their brains and their minds and their hearts and their bodies and spirits, they need a totally different thing to play with. Right. And maybe there's a new type of Toys R Us coming our way that will help our children now. So I really, I'm so excited about Pluto being around, because it always means that there's going to be some kind of wonderful change, even though there is going to be some things that, disappear or maybe even go away for a while and get restructured. And that's what really Rhonda is saying. So for those of you who are not understanding what she's saying, that's what Pluto represents. It's awesome. This is an awesome time to be alive in the United States, because we're going to see some changes. It's going to be rockin'.
Exactly.
And someone also asked in chat, when's Rhonda going to be on again? Rhonda is on pretty much every first Sunday of the month. We do the astrology show. Sometimes we got to change it because we had Easter last week, I think. So she's on every first Sunday of the month. That's the astrology show, and that's when she's going to be the star. So that way you can join us.
The star.
Yes. She's the star because she's the astrology lady. All right. So, Plants versus Zombies. That's what he was playing. Okay. So.
Yeah. It's like, and Arlene just wrote Carson's is closing. And I think that's like a clothing type, apparel.
I think it's a department store.
Yeah, it is.
We have so many department stores already.
We do, but I think more people are ordering online. And, my niece works for Best Buy. I need to ask her. I'm just curious, because you were talking about, was it your nephew?
Yes.
I'm curious. To me, that's where they are. They're overbuying all these iPads and all these gadgets. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
So the toys are different now.
Right. Toys are different than what we had. And so I just feel like, I also feel like this is one thing that I know from doing readings, is that a lot of people are downsizing.
There you go.
And because they're downsizing, they're getting rid of a lot of stuff. They're moving into smaller houses. They're not having 5 or 6 kids. They're having 2 kids. They're having a dog. They only need a 3 or 4 bedroom house. They only need so much space. They don't need huge houses anymore. They're moving.
Yeah.
There's a huge movement right now. Huge.
There is.
People are moving. They're either moving out of their states or they're moving out of the country. You know? So, there's big moves going on right now. And Rhonda was talking about the stock market and that, everybody be wise in your decisions with stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some really big changes that are here now with this Saturn and Pluto, and we're seeing it. on TV, and next month we're going to have another major change. I mean, we're even looking at infrastructure that we see on the news, which is the Saturn and Pluto. So our infrastructure is going to be changing drastically. You know, tearing down some of these old antiquated buildings and roads and bridges and all of that. You're just beginning to see that. That's what Saturn, I mean, Capricorn rules all that. So Saturn is saying, I'm coming in to make these changes. And it needs to be done right, too. And government and its policies, because Capricorn rules government. If nobody knows anything right now, you know our government's going through a change. Okay?
It is. It's going through a change.
Yeah.
And it needs to.
That Saturn, if Capricorn is government, it rules government here and you know, anywhere in the world, government in general. So Saturn and Pluto is saying, I'm coming in to revamp. It's an overhaul now.
Right.
That's it. It's big time. And all the old paradigms, you talk about antiquated, well, even the way we think, the paradigms, all of that is shifting now.
Right.
And it needs to shift. It needs to change. I mean, that's why you're seeing these monuments being torn down. Don't think that these stars are not influencing us. They are influencing, and how we choose to use them is how we're going to go out and act on them. But this is why all these things are happening. Symbolically, literally, figuratively, it's all happening the way it needs to. We may not like it, but just understand its bigger purpose here. It needs to come in and make these changes. Can I say something else that's really big that I probably haven't said?
Right. Yes.
Capricorn rules. Can I say it?
Yes, of course. It's your show, Rhonda. You're talking about astrology.
It's like England. Okay? Mm-hmm. Capricorn rules England. And if you're paying close attention, I know all these different things in the news. But if Capricorn rules England and Saturn rules Capricorn, and Saturn is in Capricorn and you got Pluto there, if you're paying attention, I said this at my book signing a year ago, that we need to watch England. They're getting ready to go through their own revolution and major changes.
They are.
Yes.
Yep.
Watch that very close, everybody. You know, I mean, it goes back to their Brexit and everything. Just really, really pay attention to that. And like Ariel was saying, the stock market, the heads up is the planet of Uranus is going into Taurus next month, and we will be talking about it then. But let me tell you guys, get ready. Right. Get ready. It's here, but get ready.
Get ready because, and I've been feeling it too, there's the stock market is going to have it's going to be a roller coaster ride this year. Yeah. So, you know, make sure that you protect yourself with stocks and all that stuff. I don't know that much about it, but, you know, talk to your stock market person, make sure that, you know, you move your money or whatever you have to do to protect yourself. The other thing that I got really big time too is this year, if you've been planning to sell your house, sell it this year. Sell it this year. Get it on the market this year. Get somebody who's really good who can sell that house for you. Even if you have to lease a house before you find your new home or whatever, but sell that house this year because I feel like the housing thing is just gonna, you know, plummet, and whatever you put into your house, you may not get what you want out of it after this year. So please help yourself out with that. Okay. I had to say that, Rhonda. Sorry.
Yes. No. It's, you know, it's definitely shifting, and Aquarius, Uranus rules the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is the awakener. Some people don't know that. That's why I'm here. It's why I'm here, y'all. It is the awakener. It's the new age sign. So it's giving us already these glimpses and understandings of what we're going to see and are seeing. And it wants to change the dynamics of our money and have us look at it differently, with maybe a different paradigm, with a different prism. And like Ariel said, is that downsizing? Are you retiring? Do you need to look at your portfolios? Do you need to restructure things and get things into a little safer places and that kind of thing? Then you do.
Right. And if you are being pulled to do that, it's because of nature. It's because of the influence of these planets.
Yeah.
Just take the steps and look around and see what you do need to downsize. Make some lists. Get yourself some handy tips. Go through your home. Go through your money. Do those things so that you're safe and you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's really what Rhonda and I are giving you, these handy tips so you can act upon them.
Yeah. And everybody knows what their current situation is. They know if they're doing fine and their money is good and they got good savings and good 401ks. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Are you retiring? You got to look at your own individual situations and make these assessments. But and Uranus sits in a sign for about 8 years, give or take your retrogrades. So it's here for it's right time and everything's divine. It's all happening the way it's supposed to. So we all need to look at it. And then it gets down to your individual chart. So this is out in the universe, and then people will come to me and say, how is it affecting me personally, and where is my Taurus? See what I mean?
Yes.
In my chart. Is it in your career area? Is it in your home area? Where's your Taurus? And let's look at all your other different, your whole chart and see what's happening when you were born and current with these changes. Then
Right.
That's how I help people. That's what I love to do. So I can give you insight as to what's happening in your personal chart. But this is a major change. Big major change.
Yeah, and it's happening here in the United States, and we're seeing one of the really exciting things too is that the young people are stepping up, and they are helping make changes. They're voicing their opinions. They are helping, and I really admire those young people that are moving forward. Those are the people that are going to be our next presidents. They're going to be our next senators and governors. These are the people that are going to be taking care of us.
Yeah.
And so encouraging them to help themselves learn and grow in this new age is really awesome. And I'm not just like a lot of people say, oh, Aquarius, new age, oh, it's all, woo-woo stuff. No,
Right.
We're not talking about the Aquarius, the new age, is all woo-woo stuff. We're talking about it as it's on all levels, people. It's not just spiritual. It's mental, physical, and emotional. And so we want to help those people, those young people into office. And there are people leaving office, like Rhonda said, there's people leaving office right now. Some of them are being forced out. Some of them are leaving on their own. It's okay. It's their time is up. And that's how we have to look at it too. Their time is up.
Yeah.
Their era is done. And so now it's time for them to go golfing or go to Tahiti or whatever it is that they are going to do in their retirement, because it's just time for a change. And that's what we're talking about, like revolution. We're not talking about everybody getting together and shooting at each other and acting like, killing each other and stuff. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about intelligence. We're talking about making change.
Right.
So revolution doesn't mean that we're out killing each other for a cause. We don't have to kill each other for a cause. She
just said it. She just said it very well. And I'm glad you said it that way, because people tend to think that, revolution is bad, and it's just another cycle. I have an article that won't be coming out for a few months, but it's talking exactly about that. So I'm glad that you said that. It's kind of an exciting time, and
it is.
It really is. And when you look at it that way, and realize that it's all here for our evolution. You think of revolution, think of evolution. Our souls are evolving, and we need to look at things in a way that we can. I mean, Aquarius actually means community.
Yes.
It really does. It's getting together with friends and being a community. It means individual to individuation too, but it's community and gathering with your peoples. And also Aquarius rules humanitarian work. Hello. So I mean, I got a lot to say about Aquarius. My sun sign's in Aquarius.
Well, and this is another fear that has come up as well. And I'll say this really quick as we're going out to break, is that a lot of people feel like there may be another Great Depression.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're talking about here. That's not what Pluto's about. Pluto's about bringing out the old and bringing in the new. So you're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio on letstalkradio.net and agangofgirls.com. Stay tuned for more info.
Haunted, a psychic story by author and radio host Ariel Grace. This is not your average book of hauntings. Haunted, a psychic story is written from a psychic perspective and contains true stories and some handy tips. Written in 3 parts, Haunted, a Psychic Story contains chilling adventures, advice from the archangels, and helpful tips used by Ariel Grace to clear haunted homes around the globe. Haunted, a Psychic Story is available on Amazon, or you can download straight to your Kindle. Haunted, a Psychic Story by Ariel Grace. Get your copy today. Marcella Zinner. Named one of the best intuitive psychics of Tampa Bay, Marcella is ready to change your life. Being a clairvoyant since childhood, Marcella enhanced her natural gifts with a master's degree from the College of Metaphysical Studies and ongoing advanced studies at the Edgar Cayce Foundation. Marcella's passion is to share her gifts with you. With intuitive counseling, past life regressions, Reiki, and empowering workshop events. What are you waiting for? Call 727-785-8780. That's 727-785-8780 to schedule your life-changing appointment with Marcella. Marcella Zinner, intuitive counselor and clairvoyant. Find your answers at marcellaz.com. In 2012, Keith Linder, after successfully obtaining a management position at a prestige healthcare company, decides the time is right for him and his girlfriend to move in together. That's putting things lightly. Weird things begin to happen within days of moving into the modern suburban home. The horrors they witnessed and desperately tried to fight off would end up putting them at the odds with members of the paranormal community and themselves. This gripping story, told from the house occupant's point of view, not only lists tales, but also includes pictures, video reenactments, commentary, and audio of the events being reported. Author Keith Linder does not ask you to believe him. He only asks you to listen. The Bothell Hell House by Keith Linder, now available on Amazon. The book, The Bothell Hell House. The author, Keith Linder. Order yours today on Amazon.
Past the hour, and you're listening to A Gang of Girls Radio on letstalkradio.net and agangofgirls.com. And you have been listening to the Astrology Show with Rockin Rev and Rhonda and I, and we have covered a lot of ground tonight. So remember, the show is going to be archived, so if you want to listen to it again, we'll have posts up everywhere across social media. And you can also check out the archive shows on the websites as well. So if you have questions or anything like that about this show tonight, write them down, and send them to Rhonda. And if she can answer them for you, she will. So you can go to, where do they got to go, Rhonda?
They go to me. So that's where you go. But I want to piggyback what you just said. I want to thank everybody because tonight's show really was because of all of your questions. I did a live reading, and the other ones were of the predictions that all of you were asking for. With your great questions, it helps Ariel and I to put these things together and come on here and share that. And I hope you enjoyed. This was something different that we did tonight. And I loved it, by the way. I love your all's questions. I really do. It was so fun.
Yes.
What I want to say is I'm going to be, I just wrote an article that's going to be published on April 15th. It's Let's Talk Magazine. Is that right, Ariel?
Yep, Let's Talk Magazine, yep.
And it's going to be on April 15th, of course. Merc goes direct.
Yay!
And new moon. And the article is called An Introduction to Divine Astrology. So you're all trying to understand divine astrology. This is a perfect way to go in and read that. And so we'll get a link, and maybe Ariel can help me with that to get a link so we can all go and read that.
Yep, we'll be posting it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And then if you want to have a Skype reading with me, you can go to my website, karmiclaw.com. On the right-hand side, click on Services, and there you'll see a choice of one-on-one personal readings via Skype with me, and they are done by appointment only. So karmiclaw.com. And please sign up for my newsletter, because what we talked about tonight is going to be reinforced again, and it will go out tomorrow morning. So sign up. Go to karmiclaw.com, and then on the right-hand column, you'll see the word newsletter. Click on that and go in and sign up. Real simple. Easy peasy. And if you want to buy my book, thank you all for those who have purchased my book. I really appreciate it. But if you haven't and you want to buy my book, go to karmiclaw.com, click on publishing, and select choices. And if you want a signed copy, then I can sign it and send it to you. You can also go to Amazon and order Sister Sage's Astrological Journeys.
Yep.
And you can go to Amazon Kindle to purchase my book. And I would like to invite you all to go on my Law of Attraction. It's actually Spiritual Laws, Theories, and Practices group on Facebook. And there we talk about all things Law of Attractions, quantum physics, astrology, a little bit of everything, and it's a lot of fun.
It is.
And so it's Spiritual Laws on Facebook, and my husband's going to put that up on chat so you can see it there. And if you do have questions, go to karmiclaw.com and you'll see a contact button. Click on that, send me any kind of message. That's nice, of course. And let me know if there's certain questions you have or ideas you would like for the show. I would love to hear them and appreciate all of you. Thank you very, very much. And you too, Ariel, you sweet gal, you.
Yeah, she's my soul sister. That's Rockin Rev and Rhonda, everybody. And, yes, she is. Our peeps like, oh, you're disrespecting her. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm praising her. She's rocking. So, there you go. That's Rockin Rev and Rhonda. And you can check her out on Facebook. Go to her Spiritual Laws and Theories Facebook page, because it is a fun group. There's a lot of neat stuff that goes on, a lot of good conversation in there, and very positive. All right, so I'm going to start doing Facebook Live things on Monday mornings while I'm drinking coffee. Yes, I am. I haven't decided tomorrow's coffee thing yet. It's going to be a surprise every week. It's whatever peeps have been asking me about. Like, lots of peeps ask me the same question. I'm going to be going over that kind of stuff on Monday mornings. And you can go to A Gang of Girls Radio Facebook page And that's where we'll be doing the Facebook Live thing. And you can also ask questions too during Facebook Live, and I'll get to them as well. So I'm going to start doing that because last week I did it, and it was really cool. That post is still pinned to the top of that page, and it's about house clearings and hauntings. Okay, because I get a lot of questions about house clearings and hauntings. And so there's some handy tips there to assist you. All right. And then next week, we're going to have Nicole Strickland on as our guest. She's going to take us on a tour of the Queen Mary. Yeah. We're going to have historical pictures, and we're also going to have EVP. She's going to talk about the history of the Queen Mary. So if you have questions about the Queen Mary, put them together so that Nicole can answer them for you. She is an expert on the Queen Mary. She's so awesome. So, and the Queen Mary, I have affection for the Queen Mary myself. So that's why we're doing it. The last time we did a tour of the Queen Mary was with Sophia Temporelli, and that was a couple years ago. So we're getting a new updated one. It's going to be very, very fun for you. Also, on A Gang of Girls Radio, if you want to sign up for my newsletter, you can. Again, I'm doing $50 Fridays, so remember to make those appointments, okay? I do them on Skype, Facebook, Messenger, and FaceTime, and phone. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, we have some awesome shows on Let's Talk Radio. Yes, we do. And here is the schedule for the week. We have Surviving Evidence on Monday, 8 Eastern with Chris and Phil. Keeping the Spirits Alive on Tuesday night, 7 Eastern with John Tobin. Haunted Voices Radio, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific Time with Todd Bates. And Paranormal Experience, Wednesday nights, 8 Eastern with Kat Hobson. Yay! And we have Paranormal Evidence right after that, Wednesday nights, 10 Eastern with Tony Rathman. Ghost Talk Radio with Shelley. Yay! On Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, Fate Radio with Todd Bates. Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Path of Discovery is going to be starting with Lisa Birkeland on Sundays at 6 Eastern. And of course, A Gang of Girls Radio on Sunday nights, which you're listening to now. Yay! I'm so grateful that you listened tonight with Rhonda and I. We had a great time with you, and we always do. Remember, she is going to be on the first Sunday of every month. If you want a live reading from her, just send us your info, birth date, place, and time to agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com. So you all have a wonderful week. Keep your hearts open and align with the energy of love. This is Ariel Grace from A Gang of Girls Radio. Good night, everyone.